Yo, I'm Shady. Welcome back to Iron to Immortal, the series where I help you guys progress past your respective ranks. I switched from live commentary to a mixture of both post and live. This will help explain in more detail about exactly what I'm thinking.
Match found.
Looks like we got split, so let's start by selecting one of the agents from my recommended agents list. There was some confusion on why I told people not to play Sentinels, but basically it all boils down to Sentinels having stronger kits while alive, forcing you into a passive playstyle which we don't want. I'm doing this because I want to teach how to take control of a match. Moving on, let me explain some of the most important knowledge you need to know before getting started. First, we got defaults. Second are rotations. Third and final is decision making. If you've already watched the first episode rundown, I'll put a timestamp on screen so you can skip ahead. Starting with defaulting. Defaulting is the zero protocol positioning and control of each map. Today we're playing split, so I'll start by showing you what an offensive/defensive default should look like. On offense, 2B, 2 mid, 1A. Defense, 1B, 2 mid, 2A. Now let's talk rotations. Rotations are when a player moves from one side of the map to another. An example on split would be getting a pick onto a mid or B player. This typically draws a rotation out of the A players. Finally, decision making. To explain decision making, I play real games to give you guys live examples of my thought process. Without further ado, let's start showcasing some examples. Alright, second round. They smoked heaven. I'll toss a nade over towards B to help our teammates. Now I slow down my aggression here because I don't want people to potentially wrap around sight and get a kill on one of my teammates. Phoenix just flashed. He could be coming through the smoke any second now. Viper seems to be mid on minimap. Omen and Killjoy aren't seeing anything, possibly in the smoke because of the ping. Yeah, it seems like they're out right now. Trying to hold this smoke. So I just there's one right here and there's one right here.
Enemy spotted. One enemy remaining. Satchel out.
Alright, on a round like this, you can see that the enemy team can afford all guns. Meanwhile, we can all afford guns next round. So this is called a bonus. Make sure you have a minimum of 3,900 before you go into the next round. Dropping my Roomba mid this round. It seems like our teammate is going with a Bucky.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer.
So in this scenario, I fall off mid because my teammate came and picked it up. I then look towards a potential weapon upgrade from B main because both enemy players were spotted mid. Where are the guns? So Omen's there, Viper was mid.
One enemy remaining.
Viper dead. Now I'm gonna hold this with my teammate. My teammate just dropped a turret, so it's like a triple crossfire. I might just peek off of the Omen's contact with the turret. Hopefully it's placed correctly.
Last player standing.
So Omen actually ended up going mid, so I immediately positioned myself towards A because he knows that I was B previously in the round. I then start walking to see if I can hear him going through vents. I hear him start planting, so my first thought is to close the gap between me and him. Turns out he was planting for heaven, and I blast packed right into him. But it's okay, I cleaned it up and ended up killing him. I'm gonna drop my Roomba down mid to see if there's anything contesting. If there's nothing contesting, I might walk push depending on what we see on the other side of the map. So dropping Roomba, Reyna flash A, I'm gonna walk push down mid. Viper and Yoru seen on minimap.
One enemy remaining.
Yoru, or Omen actually TP'd. I'm gonna be doing something a little different this time around. I'll be spectating a teammate and trying to assist him in winning the round. Okay, so we hear one on death cam. That's 2 towards mid and Phoenix B. That's one of the mid players down. One more heaven. He was mid, could be going A. You have TP.
Spike planted.
Phoenix should be late A main. Nice, you can go rush him. Rush.
One enemy remaining.
Nice. Late A main or heaven. So he should get off here and try to kill him. Which he did fine, but ooh.
What's another death?
So this round I'm gonna repeat my Roomba tactic. This is a good tactic to do in low elo because of the amount of info you get while in a pushed position. So there's no info on B or A, so that means they're just holding for pushes right now, which is why I'm sitting bottom mid instead of pushing through like I normally would. So there's 1 dead, there's 2 dead. So it looks like the other people are A since bomb's there.
One enemy remaining.
So it seems like A, because nothing was B. They could just be sitting though. If you look, we have a full rotate coming through right now. Now you might be wondering why I'm pulling out a nade here. And the answer is, I'm using it as a distraction for my Killjoy's flank. She's about to complete it, and I want to throw off anybody potentially watching for her. Spice things up.
One enemy remaining.
That's funny. Another thing to look at is what space your teammates are creating for you, along with how you can use your utility to assist you in clearing. In this example, I used my nade screens to help me clear close left and back right. I then choose to assist my team in defending heaven by pinching CT. At this point, me and my Omen are the ones being pinched. So I redirect my focus,
One enemy
but Omen
remaining.
makes swift work of him.
Hackers win.
GG.
Match found.
Alright, we found our next game. Since we got split a second time, I'm gonna try to keep things consistent by playing Raze again. Same as last game, I'm gonna start by dropping a Roomba mid for info. It looks like our B player died, so I repositioned to nade or possibly delay or oncoming rush. Some B.
One enemy remaining.
Okay, to throw in some little variation, instead of playing mid every single round, I like to switch it up by going B main or A main to threaten the orb. So when no one meets me to contest for orb, this normally means there's a high probability that the enemy team aren't running a default. Doesn't seem like there's anything here. I'm gonna go up ropes, check mid. If there's nothing mid, then it's most likely A. That's Reyna A. Both flashes A, Viper A. They don't have any sentinel, so I'm free to flank. Alright.
Last player standing.
What to do when approaching a 1v5? Well, first things first, we need to use the info we have. We know Jet is heaven and Sky died to Viper in sight. So we need to get rid of the Jet because she can pinch us from behind or even heaven when trying to clutch. Let's take care of this pinch. With Jet dead and a clear picture on heaven, we can safely enter through A main I successfully killed Reyna, making it a 1v2, but since Viper Wall is up, it would be certain death to come through an angle both enemies are watching, but end up whiffing on Viper, causing me to lose the clutch. It was a nice try, but sometimes even the best players miss their shots. Alright, another clutch scenario. In this case, I have no info and a bad weapon, so my only chance of winning this round is for an enemy to push me. After taking care of Reyna, it's still a 1v3, so I drop my Roomba CT while holding the rope for the most info possible. After taking out the raise, the round becomes winnable, so I decide to ult.
One enemy remaining.
Sometimes even the best players miss their shots. So this time around, I want to show you what it's like when they try to contest mid. Yet again, I start mid by dropping my Roomba, but notice how I position myself. Ready to swing off my Roomba. Didn't end up catching anyone off, so I back up and reset with a nade bottom mid, then prepare to swing again. Now with Reyna blind, I try to swing out to try to catch her off guard. When approaching a site with Viper ult, always spam the smoke. This is common sense for most, but I feel like it still needed to be said.
One enemy remaining.
In this clip, we see Killjoy finding a pick onto the B player, so I don't hesitate to take the space she's created, especially with both enemy players spotted on minimap.
Placing sentry. Reloading.
You're done.
Healing. Alarm bot out. Reloading. Spikes down.
One enemy remaining.
I'm still here, amigo.
Alright, I'm gonna be doing some lurking as raised now. Essentially what I'm gonna do is make my presence known, but try to split the enemies. I'll drop a Roomba here and use this wall to actually cross. See, this is... oh, there's a hole in the... Okay, so... I don't know why he was shooting it, because it was too far away for him to even...
Spike carriers down.
One enemy remaining.
Heal.
With Breach using early utility, I'm wary of a push and decide to fake my rotate.
Body out.
Our Killjoy then drops ulti on the other side of the map, providing a good reason for the A players to rotate. But as you'll see, rotating early with no vision on ramp or A main can give your enemy a perfect gap to lurk. Note, when lurking, pay attention to your audio cues. In the following seconds, you're going to receive an audio cue from an enemy rotating. I want you to think about where they're coming from.
One enemy remaining.
If you are like me, you would have thought the enemy was coming from behind because of the distinct metal sound that ramp has. So I'm going to keep working apart this side of the map until they fix their setup. Again, starting with the Roomba.
Bomb body out.
One's fighting lane, and Reyna's heaven. We now know it's breach site and Reyna heaven. With breach dead, I turn to heaven to look for Reyna, but she flashes so wide that even if I shot the flash, my crosshair displacement would get me killed. So I decide to retreat behind the nearest wall. With it being a 3v3 now, I'm gonna walk back towards mid now. I decide to regroup with my team. Viper just pops to a wall that helps us. With heaven clear, I decide to nade hell, and then use my ult to clear all of sight. Most players when using their rocket launcher get greedy and try to push something to find the enemy. But I think it's more valuable to get bomb plant down, so I opt to clear sight.
Enemy down. Spike planted. Healing.
Last player standing. One enemy
more
remaining.
Viper.
You have one flash.
Hawk out. Blinded.
Nice, our teammate did a good job. This round, Skye used her ult. Lurking with Skye ult is very powerful because the deeper the enemies play, the more control you gain.
Last player standing.
1v2 with both players mid. I first try finding the closest player to me.
One enemy remaining.
I'll fake him out with these footsteps. I then start attempting to clear everything again. Now I'm gonna head over towards A again, see if I can default this side.
Go get it.
Phoenix actually comes with me this time and decides to use his ult. So I'm gonna try to space myself to be able to trade him. We know one's heaven because of the metal sounds.
Off your feet!
After finding that kill, I decide to pop my ulti to cut off rotations.
Satchel out. Three for me.
One enemy remaining. Flawless.
Going C.
Hello.
So we start the round by going A, and Breach immediately stuns, so we know Breach is A. Jet dies heaven. And we spot Viper on minimap here. And we also have Reyna heaven. I end up taking down Reyna, so I'm gonna take this opportunity to get into vents. Walk. I now audibly can hear Raze rotating, so that means all of B site is clear. Luckily, my Skye got across A main, so now I'm gonna try to put a pinch between them and the B site. After catching Raze, I opt to reposition because it's a 2v2, and at this point, the less info the enemies have, the better. Also, I'm on 30 HP. Skye does a good job by planting for heaven, as you can see there.
Healing over here.
Last player standing. One enemy remaining.
Three for me.
Attackers win.
Boom! Silver 2 achieved. Silver 3 next. Let's go.